Chosen one, this message is not an accident. It is an interruption wrapped in mercy. You did not land here randomly. You were guided here because something inside you has been replaying a moment over and over again. The moment you spoke too soon. The moment the words left your mouth and the atmosphere shifted. This message is a mirror, and it is reflecting back what your spirit already knows. That conversation was not small. It was not casual. It was a checkpoint. You thought you were simply sharing an idea, a vision, a possibility. But heaven marked it as a lesson. When you released those words, something in the room changed. Maybe it was subtle. Maybe it was immediate. But you felt it. A tightening in your chest. A flicker in someone's expression. An energetic withdrawal. This is not coincidence. It is confirmation. Confirmation that you are being elevated into a higher dimension of spiritual discipline. God is not just developing your destiny. He is refining your restraint. You are being trusted with something greater now, and greater things require guarded lips. The moment you spoke too soon was not a failure, it was formation. And this message exists because you are ready to understand why. You remember it clearly. The sentence had barely finished leaving your mouth before the energy recalibrated. What you expected to be celebrated felt questioned. What you assumed would inspire felt received with silence. The reaction may not have been dramatic, but it was different. And you sensed it instantly. That subtle shift was not your imagination. Premature exposure creates spiritual resistance. When something sacred is spoken before it has roots, it becomes vulnerable to winds it was never meant to face yet. The vision itself was not wrong. The idea was not foolish. The intuition was real. But timing is a language of its own. And you stepped into speech before heaven said now. There is a difference between knowing something and announcing something. The spirit may reveal, but wisdom waits. You felt the shift because your spirit recognized misalignment in timing, not in truth. Let this settle in your heart. You were not delusional. You were not arrogant. You were not imagining the call on your life. The download you received was divine. The insight was heaven-breathed. The vision is real. But revelation and release are not the same thing. Seeds spoken before they are planted attract unnecessary interference. A blueprint revealed before construction invites criticism from people who cannot see the finished structure. God prepares both the promise and the moment. He does not just prepare the blessing, He prepares the environment. When you rushed the delivery, you exposed what was still forming. Not because you lacked faith, but because you were excited. But excitement without timing creates friction. And friction became your teacher. You believed you were being authentic. You thought you were sharing from a pure and honest place. Yet what felt like transparency to you looked like pride to someone else. What you intended as inspiration became gossip in another conversation you were not invited to. The pain of being misunderstood cut deep. It felt unfair. You questioned yourself. Why did they react like that? But exposure reveals alignment. When you spoke, you unintentionally uncovered who could handle your growth and who could not. Some people clap for you in theory, but shrink when your potential sounds real. What happened was not just about words. It was about revelation. And revelation always separates. Did you notice how resistance intensified afterward? Opposition increased. Doubt grew louder. Energy felt heavier. This was not random. The unseen realm responds to announcements. When destiny is declared prematurely, it attracts testing. Not because God is punishing you, but because protection requires awareness. You were allowed to feel the consequence so you could understand the weight of your voice. God is training you for stewardship. And stewardship demands restraint. The warfare was not proof that you failed. It was proof that your words carry power. And now you are learning how to wield that power with precision. Chosen one, after you spoke, the atmosphere did not just shift, it reacted. Conversations felt strained. Opportunities seemed delayed. Even your own thoughts turned against you. That was not your imagination. When you release something powerful before its appointed time, it attracts resistance. Not because God is punishing you, but because the spiritual realm responds to sound. Announcements activate attention. And attention, when premature, can invite opposition before you are fully armored. The battles that intensified after you spoke were not proof that you were wrong. They were proof that what you carry has weight. God allowed you to feel the friction so you could understand the force of your voice. This was refinement, not rejection. You are being trained to handle revelation responsibly. And sometimes responsibility is learned through resistance. Timing is not a small detail in destiny. It is holy architecture. There is a divine order to unveiling. Some assignments must remain hidden not because they are fragile, but because they are sacred. Not everyone is meant to hear your blueprint while it is still being drawn. When a vision is unformed, it is vulnerable. It needs covering. It needs quiet. God does not just prepare promises, He prepares moments. There is a sacred hush that surrounds things heaven is incubating. You mistook urgency for readiness. But readiness waits for the signal. Timing is not about delay, it is about alignment. When heaven says now, the atmosphere cooperates. Before that, Resistance Teaches. No1 really speaks about the silence that follows a premature announcement. The quiet responses, the lukewarm reactions, the subtle distancing. You replayed the moment in your mind, wishing you could retrieve your words. Doubt whispered loudly. Embarrassment tried to settle in. You questioned your discernment. But this internal recalibration was necessary. Growth often feels like discomfort before it feels like wisdom. The silence after you spoke too soon was not abandonment, it was adjustment. God was teaching you internally what applause could never teach you externally. You are not being silenced as punishment. You are being invited into strategy. There is a difference. Shame says, hide because you failed. Strategy says, be still because you are building. God is sharpening you in private. He is drawing you back into preparation. The classroom of discretion is not loud. It is intentional. Learning to guard sacred things is a sign of elevation. Silence is strength under control. It is power disciplined. It is wisdom maturing. What feels like restriction is actually refinement. Your mouth is a gate. And gates determine what enters and what exits. Every word carries weight in the spirit. You are learning not to speak for validation, but for assignment. Not to announce to feel important, but to declare when directed. Sitting with a secret without leaking it builds spiritual muscle. Letting God hold what others cannot handle builds trust between you and heaven. A guarded tongue protects a growing destiny. You are becoming selective, not secretive. Disciplined, not distant. There was a version of you that needed to be seen, needed to be affirmed, needed applause to feel secure. But authority does not beg to be understood. Not everyone has the capacity to hold your frequency. And that is okay. Spiritual maturity means becoming comfortable being misunderstood while staying aligned with purpose. You are outgrowing the urge to explain every move. Outgrowing the desire to prove every insight. When you no longer need validation, your voice becomes purer, quieter, stronger. And in that quiet strength, heaven finds someone it can trust with more. Chosen one, you are discovering that presence carries a weight explanation never could. There was a time when you felt the need to clarify every misunderstanding, to defend every insight, to narrate your own becoming so others wouldn't mislabel it. But now you are learning that silence can preach louder than paragraphs. When you stop over-explaining, you start embodying. When you stop announcing, you start manifesting. Your results will speak. Your consistency will speak. Your peace will speak. Silence is not emptiness, it is concentrated authority. It is choosing to let outcomes communicate what words once tried to convince. You are becoming untraceable to noise. You no longer chase validation. You cultivate substance. And substance does not shout. It stands. Be honest with yourself. When you spoke too soon, a part of you was not just excited, it was yearning. Yearning to be seen, to be affirmed, to finally be acknowledged for what you carry. There was an inner wound that wanted confirmation. A younger version of you that feared invisibility. So when revelation came, you rushed to share it, hoping someone would echo back, "Yes, I see it too." But God saw you all along. Heaven never required public applause to validate private calling. The need for external confirmation is healing now. You are realizing that being chosen does not require being announced. What is ordained does not need advertisement. And as that inner wound heals, your voice becomes purer, not driven by insecurity, but guided by instruction. You may feel tucked away right now, quiet, overlooked, unnoticed, but you are not buried, you are planted. There is a difference. Burial ends things. Planting begins them. Divine soil seasons are dark, but they are productive. Roots stretch deeper in hidden places. Strength develops where applause cannot reach. Spiritual construction is happening beneath the surface of your life. Just because it is unseen does not mean it is inactive. In fact, some of the most powerful transformations occur in obscurity. God hides what He intends to protect, and He protects what He intends to elevate. There is a hush around you lately. Fewer conversations, fewer explanations, fewer invitations to overexpose yourself. Do not mistake this for isolation. It is incubation. The silence surrounding you is pregnant with purpose. When something sacred is forming, heaven reduces distractions. Preparation happens behind curtains. Foundations are poured underground before buildings rise above ground. This quiet season is not empty, it is intentional. The hush is holy. It is guarding what is growing. And what is growing will not remain hidden forever, but it must be strengthened first. You are being retrained to move with divine cadence instead of emotional urgency. There is a rhythm to heaven, a pace that does not rush and does not delay. You are learning to wait for the now, not the pressure of people, not the impulse of excitement, but the whisper of alignment. Speaking when the atmosphere invites your voice. Acting when peace confirms the step. This rhythm requires patience, but it produces precision. You are discovering that timing is a language. And when you speak in sync with it, there is no resistance, only flow. Chosen one, this season of restraint is not shrinking you, it is upgrading you. Discretion is the doorway to higher realms of trust. God does not entrust sacred revelation to loose lips. He entrusts it to vaults. And you are becoming a vault. What once spilled quickly from excitement is now filtered through discernment. You pause longer. You listen deeper. You sense more before you speak. That is not fear, that is maturity. Your circle may be smaller now, but your clarity is sharper. You are no longer impressed by attention. You are aligned with assignment. Quiet obedience is elevating you in ways public declarations never could. Every time you choose restraint over reaction, you step into greater authority. You are learning that wisdom is not just knowing what to say, it is knowing what to withhold. And in that withholding, heaven sees readiness. Discretion is not secrecy born of insecurity, it is stewardship born of strength. You are being trusted with more because you no longer feel the need to prove anything. This is an upgrade, chosen one. This is the level where many are called but few are trusted. Discretion is not silence born from fear, it is silence forged from strength. You are being upgraded through restraint. Where you once felt compelled to share every revelation, now you feel the weight of what is sacred. You sense when something is for prayer and not for public. You recognize when a vision is still forming and not ready for exposure. This is elevation. God is refining your discernment so that you no longer speak from impulse, but from instruction. Notice how your circle has grown smaller but clearer. Conversations feel more intentional. You no longer need a crowd to validate what you carry. That is maturity. You are becoming a vault, a safe place for divine downloads. Heaven trusts vaults, not leaks. Every time you hold back when your ego wants to announce, you strengthen your spiritual authority. Every time you choose prayer over proclamation, you build capacity. Discretion is sharpening your instincts. You read rooms differently now. You sense atmospheres before you release words. You wait for alignment instead of chasing attention. This is not passivity, it is power under control. You are learning that wisdom is not just knowing what to say, but knowing what to guard. And guarded things grow stronger. This season may feel quieter, but it is heavier with purpose. God is elevating your influence by teaching you containment. When you can carry revelation without leaking it, you demonstrate readiness for more. You are not being restricted, you are being entrusted. And what heaven entrusts, heaven eventually reveals at the right time. Chosen one, there is a shift that happens when silence is no longer heavy, it becomes powerful. At first, holding your tongue felt uncomfortable. It felt unnatural. You wanted to explain. You wanted to clarify. You wanted to release what you knew. But now something has changed. Your restraint no longer feels like suppression. It feels like strength. Silence is no longer a reaction to embarrassment. It is a position of authority. Carrying secrets without leaking them is a spiritual promotion. Not everything revealed to you is meant to be repeated by you. Some revelations are invitations into intimacy, not announcements for the crowd. And the fact that you can now hold what you know without broadcasting it means you are passing the test of restraint. Heaven measures maturity differently than people do. People reward noise. Heaven rewards stewardship. Authority is forged in shadows. Leaders are shaped in hidden rooms long before they stand on visible platforms. When you resist the urge to speak prematurely, you demonstrate control over your impulses. And control over impulse is a mark of power. You are no longer driven by the need to prove. You are anchored in the confidence of calling. There is something intimidating about a person who does not feel the need to overshare. It signals depth. It signals security. It signals alignment. Your quietness is not weakness, it is composure. It is knowing that your voice will carry more impact when it is released at the appointed time. Heaven is observing how you handle what you know. And because you are choosing restraint over reaction, your authority is increasing. When silence becomes intentional instead of accidental, it transforms into influence. And influence that is built in quiet places cannot be shaken by loud opposition. Chosen one, you are not in a delay, you are in a construction zone. And construction zones are never glamorous. They are loud behind the scenes but quiet from the outside. There is dust in the air. There are structures half-formed. There are blueprints spread across tables you cannot see. Right now, heaven is building something around you and within you simultaneously. Spiritual wiring is being installed behind walls that have not yet been revealed. Foundations are being reinforced beneath floors you are already walking on. What feels like stillness on the surface is actually intense activity underneath. Angels are repositioning conversations you have not yet had. Doors are being rerouted. Timelines are being adjusted. Alignments are being orchestrated. Every word you withheld after learning your lesson has become a brick of protection. Every moment you chose restraint over reaction became insulation against sabotage. Strategic concealment is doing what public announcements never could. It is stabilizing your structure before exposure tests it. There is a profound difference between eagerness and readiness. Eagerness wants to unveil the blueprint while the scaffolding is still shaky. Readiness waits until the beams are secured. You were eager before. Now you are becoming ready. The blueprint of your life is being guarded until the structure can sustain scrutiny. God is not hiding you to diminish you. He is fortifying you so that when visibility comes, you do not collapse under the weight of it. Silence once felt heavy. It felt like suppression. It felt like you were shrinking. But now you are realizing it is holy. This quiet season is elevating you internally. Quiet seasons produce stable platforms. Loud seasons often produce fragile ones. And God is not building anything fragile in your life. He is constructing something that can withstand criticism, withstand pressure, withstand visibility. You are being positioned instead of exposed. Exposure happens quickly and fades quickly. Positioning takes time and lasts. Each withheld word has strengthened your discipline. Each private prayer has deepened your foundation. Each unseen adjustment has aligned you more precisely with your assignment. When construction is complete, people will see the structure and call it sudden. They will not know about the silent season that reinforced every beam. But you will know, and heaven will know. This is the elevation that only quiet seasons can produce. Chosen one, there will come a moment when the hush lifts. Not because you forced it. Not because you grew impatient. But because heaven says now. The same God who taught you restraint will authorize your release. And when that moment arrives, it will not feel rushed. It will feel aligned. There will be a peace that accompanies your voice. A certainty that does not need rehearsal. This time, your words will not carry nervous excitement. They will carry weight. Not emotional urgency, but prophetic precision. You will not be speaking to be seen. You will be speaking because you have been sent. And there is a difference. Sent voices shift atmospheres. Sent voices carry authority that cannot be argued with because it has been forged in quiet obedience. When the silence breaks, you will notice something profound. There will be no resistance attached to it. Doors will not feel strained. Conversations will not feel forced. The atmosphere will cooperate. Why? Because timing will be aligned. What once felt premature will now feel exact. Your voice will land differently because you are different. You have been matured in the shadows, refined in restraint, strengthened in secrecy. The version of you that emerges will not need to over-explain. A single sentence will carry more impact than 1,000 earlier words ever could. There will be clarity in your tone, confidence in your posture, authority in your spirit. And those who once misunderstood will sense the shift without you having to announce it. You will speak. And it will thunder. Not loudly for attention, but powerfully with alignment. The embargo will lift. The green light will flash. And you will realize that the waiting was not wasted. It was preparation. Your voice will no longer be early.it will be exact. Chosen one, hear this clearly. It had to happen this way. You had to speak too soon to understand the sacredness of silence. You had to feel the shift to recognize the weight of your words. You had to experience the resistance to respect divine timing. What felt like a mistake was actually mentorship. What felt like embarrassment was actually elevation. This was not failure. It was formation. Silence has become your strategy. Silence has become your strength. Silence has become your spiritual warfare. You now understand that not every revelation is an announcement. Not every vision is for immediate unveiling. You have learned restraint, and restraint is power under control. You are no longer driven by urgency. You are governed by alignment. Remain aligned. Guard what is growing. Protect what is forming. Do not allow impatience to pull you ahead of instruction again. Trust the cadence of heaven. When the signal comes, you will know. And when you speak next, it will not be from excitement. It will be from authority. If this message resonated with you, declare it boldly. I embrace divine timing. Let that be your alignment. Engage with this word. Reflect on it. Carry it with you. Your next words will not be premature. They will not be rushed. They will not be misunderstood. Your next words will shift atmospheres, because this time, they will be released exactly when heaven says, now.